Hi everyone, it's Kathy here again. Welcome back to my channel, Memories Made Magical. I thought I'd come along today just to show you how lucky I've been over Christmas and my birthday, which was in January. And I've got some new products that I was lucky to receive as presents. Obviously I asked them because it was on my wish list, but I was quite lucky to get quite a few of the items that I asked for on my wish list. So the first one is the Tonic Studios Tim Holtz 8.5 inch trimmer and guillotine. The next one I received was the Gemini Mini, and it comes with a plastic shim and the plastic folder, and I'll be showing you how to use that in just a little while. I then got a selection of stamps that I quite like. These are the Gnome, I think it's Gnome Place Like Home. Yep, Gnome Place Like Home by Honeybee Stamps. And they're lovely stamps to use. And I've been making a couple of cards with those. And then they come with the matching dies, which is Gnome Place Like Home Honey Cuts, which are the dies that go with the stamps. And then when I was at Craft Show back in 2019, I saw these beautiful Alice in Wonderland, well, it's Alice in Fabulous Land actually, lovely acrylic stamps with some nice iconic images of the March hare there, and one of the pages, there's Alice. And again the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat with a lovely couple of little sentiment stamps on there. We're all a little bonkers here. And then the last one that I bought, I think there's 5 sets altogether in the stamp set. This one is Time for Tea. Oh, sorry about the glare off of that light. So I bought set 3, which was the Time for Tea. I bought set 2, which was obviously called We're All a Little Bonkers. I think that's what it's called anyway, here. And I've got set 6. Oh, it's actually 6 sets altogether. And I've got set 4. And then one of the other things I asked for was the Tim Holtz Tonic Studios stamping platform, because over the years I've been using some rocker blocks by Crafter's Companion, and they've been really good, and I still recommend those to anybody that started out in stamping. But obviously the new thing, well, relatively new thing that I've seen on YouTube is stamping platforms, and there's quite a few different ones to choose from. But I decided, because I quite like Tonic Studios and other products that I've got from them, and I also like Tim Holtz, and I've been watching him quite a bit on YouTube, and I found that the best one for me is the Tim Holtz Tonic Studio stamping platform. So I think we'll get started. That's an instruction video I'd like to try and give you. So we'll open our stamping platform up. The stamping platform from Tim Holtz comes in actually 2 sizes. You've got a travel size, which I'm not quite sure I can remember the size of that. Let me just try and get rid of some of this glare. There we go, hopefully that'll be a bit better. Sorry about that. The one I chose, as I say, it comes in 2 sizes. You have the travel platform, which I think is 6 by 6, but I've chosen the bigger one, which is 8.5 by 8.5 inches there on the base. So that's probably going to do me quite well. So right, so when I was watching Tim Holtz videos about his stamping platform, It says on here that you have two types of stamps that you can use with this platform. The first one, I don't know if you can see that, is rubber, there. And then you can also use clear acrylic stamps as well. But what he says to do is to actually change it to the side of the stamps that you are actually going to be using. And I'm going to be using obviously some clear stamps today. So all the stamps I've got, the Alice in Wonderland or Alice in Fabulous Land and the Honeybee stamps are all clear stamps. I'll bring another video out to show you what it's like with rubber stamps, because I've got quite a lot of rubber stamps over the years, which probably some of the other ladies on YouTube have also got quite a lot. But clear stamps seem to be a lot easier to use, and you seem to get a lot more of them these days than the rubber stamps. The rubber stamps seem to be phasing out a little, at least in England. I don't know what it's like in America and other places in Europe. So, first things we're going to do is we open it up so it actually sits like this, so it opens up like that. And it comes with two very, very strong magnets. And another thing that Tim Holtz did say was don't ever get your magnets together, always keep them separate, don't ever let them meet, because they're very strong magnets and they tend to shatter apparently if you get them close together, because obviously they're always going to want to be together because they're magnets. So the first thing to do is to change this over, the lid, change it over to the stamps that I'm actually using. So I'm using clear stamps, as I said. So what he said was to do was to bring the lid up just vertically like that, and then just pull it and it should come out, which it does very easily. And then we turn it and then we pop it back in again. It goes back in nice and easily, and then we bring it back down. Yep, just as he said, nice and easy. So now we've got the word clear on the top, so they're the stamps that I'm going to be using. So to try out my new Tim Holtz stamping platform, I just have got some little blank cards, some little card blanks, which I think these are actually made out of watercolour card. And these that I'm using today just measure 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches, which in centimetres is roughly 14 centimetres. There you go, by 14 centimetres. Okay, so these, just for practice purposes, I'm going to be using those today. So what we do first of all is bring the lid up of the stamping platform, and it does go all the way back, I see, so I'm going to have to move my platform down a little bit. And then I'm going to pop my card, try and get the magnet off first of all. Oh, they are very strong. And just pop my card literally just in the top left hand corner. Pop my magnet there. The magnet there just to hold my card in place. You can see that. And then I'm going to choose one of the stamps that I want to use. I think I'm going to go for the Mad Hatter, actually. I'm going to open the Mad Hatter up. And as I say, these lovely stamps are from a company called Dolly Dimples Crafts. And I think they are a British company or a UK company, so you can go on their website, dollydimplescrafts.co.uk. I think if you also look on Amazon or eBay or places like that, or just put it into Google, you'll probably find them on there. So there may be other places that actually sell Dolly Dimples Crafts stamps. Okay, so just going to peel that off. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to decide where exactly I want to have my Mad Hatter. So I think I'm going to have him just over a little bit to the left there, because what I want to try and do is just make a quick card. Just move these things out of the way so I can just move my platform up a little bit. I'm going to move that back a little bit so you can see a little bit more about where he is. I'm just going to position him where I want him, so I just want him down at the bottom there, like that. And then I think I'm also going to take my We're All Bonkers here, and then I'm going to pop that rather, just up to the top right hand side. This is going to be quite a, maybe just about there. Okay. Pop those things away. So what we do then is we just literally take our stamping platform lid and bring it down. Like that, give it a little bit of pressure. Like this, and then hopefully, yep, the stamps now stick onto the lid. I don't know if you can see that with the grid underneath it. Just sticking on the lid quite well. So then I've got a few different types of ink that I wanted to show you that I use for my stamping. I'm just going to bring that lid down again just for a minute and just put it to one side. Also, the nice thing about this platform is it's got a nice foam base, so it sits quite nicely on your work desk or your cutting mat. Oh, that was another thing I got for my birthday, was a new cutting mat, an A2 cutting mat, which I was really pleased about. And I've gone for a black one instead of the original green that I had. So I've got 4 types of ink that I'm going to show you today with these stamps. The first one is Versamark, and that is actually a watermark stamp, so it's good if you want to use it with watercolour paints or anything like that. It's non-toxic, that creates translucent images, excellent for background designs or any sort of designs really, so that's a good one to have in your crafty stash. The next one I like to use is Memento, and this one is a Memento Tuxedo Black, which is a fade resistant dye ink for lasting impressions. It is a quick drying ink and it works on most papers, so that's always a good one, especially if you want to start colouring them quite quickly. So that's a good ink to have in your stash as well. And then just a couple of other inks that I buy on a regular basis from a company. This one's called Ink It Up, which is a very good versatile generalised ink. That's that one. This one's in black as well. And then another company that I use sometimes is Habico Professional Pigment Based Ink Pad. So, and that comes in various colours. Oh, and just show you some of the other inks that I got as well. Dovecraft also do a nice selection of inks, and these are premium pigment inks. That one's in berry purple and the other one's in hot pink, so they come in a wide variety of different colours. So they're the different inks that I'll be using today. So the first one I'm going to try is the Memento. Okay, so as I said, this is a nice fast drying ink. So I'm just going to turn my platform around. Let's just open that. Oh. And then I'm just going to ink up Mad Hatter. Give him quite a nice lot. Nice good coverage of ink on him. There we go. And then I'm also going to cover my little sentiment that I'm going to use, one that says "We're all mad here." So I'm just going to give good coverage. And then I'm going to turn it round and bring it back down. If you get any ink anywhere else, I don't think it's going to matter, but I tend to just wipe it off if you see any ink where you don't want it. Like there's a little bit there. Okay, So then bring it down. Oh, got ink on my finger. So what I tend to do is I know I think Tim Holtz actually recommends, and I think I'm going to get some hand sanitizer to actually remove the ink, because I know it's very good for your fingers. It'll bring it off of your fingers. But I tend to use baby wipes at the moment. So then, once my hands are dry, I'm just going to press down evenly all over my images. Give it a good press down everywhere. I can actually see the ink on the side of that stamp, and then hope that's given me a good image, and I'm going to raise that to the top. Well, that's come out quite nicely, but maybe it's just a little bit patchy in some areas, so that's not a problem with the stamping platform. It is if you use like stamping blocks, because obviously you can't always get them directly in the same place as you stamped before, and you can sometimes have the image looking a bit weird. But the good thing about a stamping platform is that you can keep the stamps exactly the same place as they were before. Add a little bit more ink. Just close that back up again. And then again just bring the stamp platform back down. Give it a nice little bit of pressure, nice even pressure. And again to my Mad Hatter. And then bring it up. And again, there was a little bit of ink, I don't know whether you can see it, there's a little bit of ink there, just on the actual plastic, but it hasn't actually transferred to my image, which I think is brilliant. That's another thing I love about this platform. So I'm really, really glad that I got one of these. And that's given us a nice crisp image, as you can see, all ready for colouring in. And that's straight onto the front of my card, which I really like. Okay, so that's that one. So that would make a nice little card just in itself, just to cheer somebody up maybe. And I'll also show you some pro markers I've got. I'll show you a little bit of colouring as well later on. So that's those two. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my stamp with a baby wipe, because baby wipes do literally just wipe off the ink nice and quickly, straight off your stamps and anywhere else that it's transferred to that you don't want it, like on the platform. So I'm going to take those off, put them to one side. As you can see, these stamps, these Alice in Fabulous Land by Dolly Dimples, comes out really nice and crisp. I'm just going to get some tissue and just wipe my platform dry. There we go. Then I just want to show you the Versamark. It's a different, as I said, like a watermark stamp pad. So for the next stamps I'm going to use some of that. So I get another card, pop it down. Obviously this will take an 8-inch card by 8-inch, or actually it'll probably take an 8.5 by 8.5 piece of card. If you wanted to do, that's the biggest size that you can get on here. Again, just pop my magnets again in the opposite corners. And then what I'm going to do is get out my honeybee stamps, which is the Gnome Place Like Home, which are gorgeous, cute little stamps. Take these out. What shall we use for this one? I think we're going to use this little girl, cute little girl. So we pop her down there, and we're going to pop this little guy down as well, just like so. Actually, I'm probably going to have him on the end there, him there, put her there, and then I think I will put the word gnome. So we want gnome right in the middle. And that's a good thing. You've got the grids going down the side and across the top, where you can actually see the measurements. So this is 5.5. So to centralise my gnome sentiment, I think I just want him looks stuck to me. Roughly about. Let's bring him down a little. Well, no, maybe I will leave him there. Bring him in about there. It's not going to be spot on, but obviously I'm just trying to give you an idea. I'd probably be a little bit more meticulous with my positioning if I was actually making a card, but I'm just trying to show you, give you an idea of what you can do with this nice little place. So I'm going to pop that underneath. So we've got no, and there's also a little goat, so I might pop him right in the middle. It's a little goat that comes with it as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop him straight in the middle of the two little characters. And as I say, I'll bring back another video another day and show you how to do some colouring in with some pro markers. Okay, because these are new stamps, they're quite clingy as well. Right, so I'm going to pop this one just down there. So I'm going to use my Versamark ink, which I haven't actually opened yet. Let's see how new it is. I have some scissors. Let's just open the packet. And we'll see how the Versamark ink takes to these stamps. Again, just bring platform down, give it a bit of pressure. Bring it back up, so all your images are then transferred to the lid. Start stamping up your images. Get a nice generous covering of ink onto your stamps. And the sentiments too. Okay, just wipe residue ink off of my fingers and off of the stamping platform. As I say, I don't think this matters too much, but I'm just wanting to make sure that you get the best vision of the results. Give it a nice press down, even pressure everywhere, and then bring it up. Oh, that's not done too well there. So you can actually have a look and see which ones that haven't stamped too well. So I think the little girl hasn't stamped very well, so I'm going to do her again. Hopefully give us a bit more of a crisp image. Any residue ink. I think Tim Holtz said that if you Just make sure it's not actually on the edge, stamping edge. If it's on the rest of the platform, I don't think it matters too much, but I think if it was on this edge here or on the other one, it would probably transfer onto your card. Right, so I'll bring that down again. Give that a nice press, nice even press. And again, this is nice using a. This is what I really love about a stamping platform as opposed to stamping blocks, because you can get many stamps all in one go. And I'm quite impatient when it comes to my designs. I like to get, you know, to be able to see instant gratification of what I'm doing. So again, her hair. This is not coming out as well as the last one, so I think Memento is really good ink to use. I preferred that one for this, but obviously it is my first go with this platform, so it's all trial and error. And as I always think, you know, if we make mistakes at paper crafting, especially as we're beginners, it doesn't really matter, because the most it's going to cost us is a piece of paper, a little bit of ink. It's not going to be a huge problem. And that's the way we learn. That's the way I learnt, by making lots and lots of mistakes. Okay, so her hair is still right, so I think I might just go over with a little bit of Memento ink again, just so that we can get a nice crisp image. Do the little goat. Again, I'm quite happy with him. It's just basically, and I might go over the word gnome again too, so that again we get a nice crisp image. You know, I mean, you can you don't have to do what I've done and put loads of stamps on at the beginning. You can just do one at a time, especially when you're beginning. It'll probably be easier for you. Okay. Oh, that hair's really being awkward today, isn't it? So I'm just going to go over that once more. And that's really what's lovely about this, is that you can go over as many times as you want. I'm going to give him a bit more of an ink in. The goat seems to have come out okay. It's literally just her hair, wherever her hair is, there it is. And then I might do the other sentiment too. Give that a nice press of ink. Make sure it's pressed down. Literally put a little bit more pressure on where her hair is. And you can see on here I've got ink all over the actual lid of the platform, and none of it has actually transferred onto my card, which is lovely. So I'm going to take that one off. Take that one off. Even though her hair is still a little bit not quite done, I could do that again. There's one, another little quick card. Gnome Place Like Home. So that could be sent to somebody for a variety of reasons. So that's that one. So then I'm just going to give it a quite quick wipe over again. My baby wipes, get rid of all the ink, which comes off nice and easily. As I say, I think I will try and use what Holtz said about the hand sanitizer and see if that's any easier. Also, what I like to do is, once I've finished with my stamps, is I always run a sink of just warm soapy water, give them a nice wash off in there, and then it keeps them well. And they will also, the acrylic clingy stamps, once they're nice and clean, you've got no little bits on them, they also regain their clinginess. You don't lose it as long as you're keeping them nice and clean. They will last you for years and years. Okay, so I'm just going to take off these stamps. Actually, I'm going to leave them on. So that is the Tim Holtz Tonic Studios stamping platform that I'm really happy with, and I'm so glad I asked for that as a present. So I'm going to pop that to one side. And I also then obviously showed you a couple of little stamps too. Right, so I think next thing I'll do, let's just pop my inks to one side. The next thing I want to show you is my Tim Holtz guillotine or trimmer. So I pop those things to one side there and bring my trimmer in. So I've got a big A3 guillotine that I use for a lot of my projects, and I've got also got a trimmer that I use, which is my Fiskars trimmer, which is really good. But I just wanted something that's got the cutting power of guillotine, but something that's smaller and handy, so that I haven't got to get my big A3 one out all the time, especially if I'm doing little cards like those. I don't want to get a big A3 guillotine out, so this is why I asked for this one. So this is again by Tonic Studios, Tim Holtz, and it's got a nice cutting sound to it. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little bit of card. So I've got an A4 piece of white card here, probably about 180 GSM, so it's not a heavyweight card, but I think this will probably do. I'm going to cut a bit of, I've got some, I think 250, 300 GSM card that I'm going to have a go at cutting in a minute. So pop that in, and I think I'm going to go for, let's see, what I'm going to actually do is cut a couple of dies out. I'm using my Gemini Mini, so I need, it says the plastic folder for the Gemini Mini is 6 inches by 3 inches. So I probably want a piece of card that's going to be 5.5. So this is a 6-inch guillotine, as you can see. It will take up to 6 inches there. Piece of card, so I'm going to cut 5.5 here. Whoops. Hold that in place, that's probably a good idea. So keep your fingers way out the way of the blade. That's a nice cutting sound. That was me. So if I just do that again, that was my mistake. That wasn't the guillotine. So what I'm going to do is because I'm going to only cut a little image, a little die. I'm doing 5 inches. There we go. A nice clean cut on there, and then I'm going to probably do 5 inches by, let's see, what was it, 3. So if I do by 2.5, just going to get something. What shall I use? A pair of scissors. That's just to get that piece of paper out of the way. So I'm going to use 2 3/4, I think. That'll be big enough. Again, a nice clean cut. So you can see, very easy, straightforward. But it's nice to have a nice little mini guillotine. Nice and portable. You can pop it in a craft bag and take it if you go to any craft clubs or meetings with your friends. That's a nice portable one to use. So what we're going to do next, I just need to get my stamping platform out once more. If I can remember where it is, I just put it. Here it is. And I'm going to take some of these stamps off. off here. I think I'm going to leave the little boy on. Take these ones off. Actually, I might leave the gnome on there, the word that says gnome. I'll take the little girl off, and I'll just give the platform a wipe dry around. Make sure that my stamps are nice and dry. Like so. That's a bit wet on there, so I'm just going to give that a dry off as well. There we go. And then I'm going to pop my piece of paper. That's the size of the paper I need for my mini Gemini. So I'm going to pop that there. And I'm going to pop that down there. And I think I might probably have to do one at a time actually. So what I'm going to do is just place him in the middle, like so. Bring my lid down again. Make sure it's pushed down nicely. Try to straighten that up a little bit. Bring that down. Give it a nice even pressure. And that brings, there we go, just straighten that out a little bit. And that brings him onto the lid. Let's get my Memento ink again and just ink up the stamp. See, I'm learning things while I'm doing these videos as well. I think I'm learning that Memento is probably going to be my most favourite ink of choice to do my stamps, because it makes them nice and crisp. So again, make sure it's down nicely. Give that a nice even pressure all over the stamp. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to have a little drink. There we go. Okay, that's a nice clean image, I'm happy with that. So then I can take my image off of there, put my stamping platform to one side, and bring in my Gemini Mini. Now this is the first time I've used this, so I hope it works. I'm sure it will, because I've bought lots of Crafters Companion products over the years, probably over the last 10 years, and everything I've ever bought I've always been happy with. The very first thing I bought was the Ultimate Pro scoring board, which was one of Sarah Davies. She's the lady who actually started Crafters Companion, and I think that was one of her first ever products that she launched, apart from maybe an envelope maker. But the Ultimate Pro scoring board, which I will show you in another video, is probably the one that started her, you know, the biggest recognition that she got, and rightly so, because it's a fantastic product and you can do so much with it. So there's our little Gemini Mini. So I'll pop that down. It's got nice little suckers on the bottom, so it just stays nice and firm on your cutting mat. Oh, it's actually quite difficult to get back off again. Okay, so I've got my little stamped image here, my little gnome. So then I'm going to look in my coordinating die set for the die. Whoops, oh, there's so many dies in here. It's quite a lot. I'm quite lucky to get them all. I'm just trying to think. I think it's this one. I think it's that one. And is it him? Let's see. T-fit. Oh, maybe not. Let's see if I can find which one it is. Ah, I think he could be him. Is he? No, maybe he's not. Actually, I think it could be him. Yeah, it is him. So what we want to do, because I've still got, there's a couple of little dies in there as well in the middle, as you can see. There are a couple of separate dies that I haven't even cut out yet. You get a lot with this little set. So what I need to do is just take those out, because we don't want the middle of our little gnome to be cut. So you have little cutting places there. Quite tricky to get out, but if you look with the scissors, they will come out. You see, and these are all separate little dies, if you can see those. There's like a little candy cane, because this is actually a Christmas collection. That is a little lamp, little lantern just there. See in the middle, but if I leave them in, it's obviously going to cut the middle of my gnome out, and I don't want that. I'll put those to one side ready for when I want to use those. Okay, so what you do, you've got your image. Let me just move this up actually so you can see a bit better, get it into view. You've got your little image there. What is an easy thing to do? Let me just see. I think I've got some masking tape or some purple tape here, which is a low tack tape. This again I think was Crafter's Companion, but you can buy purple tape from various companies. And what I'm going to do is place my gnome die straight over the top, just line him up like so, and just stick him down. And if I follow the instructions well enough, because it does come with a little book, if I can just find it for you, here we are. I have a nice little user guide which is in various languages, obviously English being mine, so that's the front, and it tells you what's in the book, what's in the box rather, how to use a plastic folder and material, and here, so it says to feed a die through the mini you must put it in the plastic folder and then insert into the opening as below. So plastic folder contents a metal cutting die, that's what that is, that's a metal cutting die. Material to be cut, which is going to be the card. We want to put that in the folder. So I'm just going to open the little folder. And again, this is the very first time of me using it. I haven't actually opened it yet. I've just put it on one of my shelves in my craft room and just admired it since Christmas. So then we pop that into the folder. Now it doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to do this because I just want to make sure that it stays nice and still when it goes through the mini. Show you. Again, I'm just going to put a couple of little pieces of purple tape just literally just at the top and the bottom of the piece of paper, just so that I know when it goes through that it's actually going to stay in place. Okay, so that's your little sandwich. You've got your piece of card, which you've got your stamped image on, and then we want to just cut our stamped image out. Okay, you can either, what you can do, I mean, sometimes I colour in my image first before I cut it out, and that's, you know, sometimes I just find it's a bit easier, but you can do either. So with this particular time I'm going to cut it out first and then colour it in later. Okay, so you've got your paper, your die with stamped image, and just close your sandwich like so. I'm just going to turn it around, pop it onto my mat. It stays nice, it's not going to tip or slide at all. Literally just feed my little sandwich just in until the handle moves on its own, and then you know that it's actually gripped. Keep your hand on top of the mini and literally just feed it straight through. You're going to feel a bit of resistance, and that is normal, and a little bit of cracking, that is also normal. That will tell you that hopefully the paper has cut. Okay, so one way of finding out, just open our little sandwich, take off the pieces of, there you go, and what a lovely clean cut that is. So again, I am so happy that I asked for the Gemini Mini. Again, there are lots of different mini die cut machines on the market. I've got a big die cut machine, which is the Spellbinder's Grand Caliber, and if I just get that for you, you'll see the difference in size. But again, I wanted something, because I've got quite a lot of small dies and I didn't want to have to get my big machine out just to cut like I've done today, just to cut a little gnome. But you can see the difference in size here. This is my Grand Caliber, which is by Spellbinders. Oops. And that is an A4 size, so that will cut up to A4 card and paper. And there's my little mini now. So that will cut all the little dies that I want to. Okay, so just pop that one out of the way again. So there we go. You've now seen some of the products I had and how to use them. Okay, so you now know, hopefully, how easy it is to use the stamping platform, and then to stamp and to cut out a little image, and then all we will do then, oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to show you, but you can see the little gnome just sat on there. He's quite a pretty little gnome, and it didn't take any cutting with any scissors, any fussy cutting, and it was nice and easy and quick to do, so you could use him quite quickly. Then you could probably use him if you wanted to 3D the images on the card. So I've got a nice flat stamped image on there, but I could probably use him and go over the top and just stick him on with some little foam squares, and to raise him up, make him a little bit 3D on the card. So there's lots of things to do. I hope you've enjoyed watching my video, and I hope that I've given you some tips and maybe some inspiration, especially if you're just starting out in crafting, especially paper craft. And just remember, just give it a go. Okay, there's no such thing as a bad mistake when it comes to crafting. Sometimes I just like to look at them as happy accidents, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. But the most important thing with crafting, especially to me, just have some fun, okay? Because I really love doing it, so hopefully you will. Alright, well, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to watch some more videos from me, just press the subscribe button. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, happy crafting.